All right, let's give you a look at the White House. This is live. Moments ago, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre wrapped up her first briefing since news of cocaine being found in the West Wing was revealed to the public. But the question still remains, whose was it? And how were they able to get that illegal drug into the White House? NewsNation's Evan Lambert has been following this debacle from the beginning, joins us from live outside of the White House. So, Evan, Jean-Pierre did not give a lot of information. What else are we learning?
Nichole, yeah, so this really came up pretty close to the beginning of the question portion of the White House briefing, which started probably about 30 minutes or so ago. And essentially, the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, said that this is under investigation, under the purview of the Secret Service. They are going to allow that investigation to play out. She did say that the president has been briefed on this by his senior staff. But really not giving us a whole lot more information that we didn't already know. NewsNation was able to confirm a little bit more information earlier today about the second round of testing, just showing that this is in fact cocaine. There was preliminary testing that said it was, and then the Secret Service sent it off to a lab for another round of testing. That testing revealing that the substance found was cocaine. Take a listen to the press secretary, what she had to say after the question.
Where this was discovered is a heavily traveled area where many White House, West Wing, I should be even more specific, West Wing visitors come through this particular area. I just don't have anything more to share. It is under investigation.
And the press secretary also saying that they are confident, the White House confident that the Secret Service will get to the bottom of this, but also kind of hedging our expectations here, describing this as a really heavily trafficked area. And so likely the Secret Service would be going through some of the tools as far as visitor logs and security cameras in the area to see if they can narrow this down, to see who this cocaine came in with, right? And so people generally have access to this section of the West Wing if they work here, sometimes members of the press, if they are on tours, these kind of exclusive tours that essentially you have to have a connection to get, usually open to people that have connections to White House staffers, and they happen during off hours on the weekends and at night. The press secretary is saying that this weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, those West Wing tours did happen, but we're not exactly sure if it was someone who was visiting the White House as part of a tour that left this cocaine behind, but also a law enforcement source describing to us earlier today that this is also an area in which people are asked to leave their electronics before they go into the West Wing, that portion there where the offices are, and sometimes they can poke their head into the Oval Office. That's obviously a highlight of some of these tours. But again, this still remains under investigation. And we're really not getting much more than that from the White House on this. A lot of people, I believe there was one question about kind of the security protocols in that area. And essentially the press secretary is saying that's something that the Secret Service is in charge of and is looking into. But I know people that do have regular access to the White House, some of the security set up here really is designed to find things that could harm someone inside, like weapons and things of that nature, not necessarily designed to come into contact or discover illegal drugs. Nichole?
Yeah, it certainly makes you wonder how good the camera system is. And I would imagine somebody's feeling possibly quite nervous right now. All right, Evan Lambert, live in front of the White House. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.